G'day guys, bonjour, dunada, my name is Wildkard, welcome back to my channel, thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show, like, comment, and subscribe, and yes, you are here today because the Six Nations 2025 have just kicked off, and I think everybody is unhappy, okay? Wales just played France instead of France, and no one is happy, this regardless of the scoreline, 43 points to nil. Obviously, lackluster performance by the Welsh team once again. What is it? 13 losses in a row now, or is it 12 losses in a row now for the Welsh team? Worst losing record ever. And for the French, despite the win, it was soured by the red card to Romain Ntamack in the dying few minutes of the game. He's going to be looking at a minimum 3 weeks suspension. They could say that's an entry point, and if he does the tackling score, he's going to get reduced down to 2 weeks. But yeah, it's not really the start that the French subjects was looking for. Especially in a game where they pretty comfortably had this one in the bag. Antoine Dupont was taken off the field at 50 minutes of the game. Ntamack was left on the field for pretty much the entire game. I understand why they decided to do that, because obviously they got the 6-2 set up on the bench. But more importantly is that Ntamack hasn't had much international test rugby since for like over a year now. You know, he hasn't played since before the Rugby World Cup in 2023. So they wanted to give him a bit more game time, and yeah, he kind of maybe showed that that clunkiness, showed that maybe lack of concentration, leading to a dangerous shoulder charge onto the Welsh number 10 for a red card. So this is the incident. Let's have a look at it. Oh, this is the Welsh one. So there was a yellow card to Welsh. We'll have a look at this in a minute, and you can see the difference. So this is Ntamack coming in on what's his name? On the Welsh number 10. Shoulder tucked straight to the head. Very similar situation to the Welsh one. Also, you know, the ball carrier is already involved in the tackle and getting in. Also shoulder tucked here as well. So you could argue that this could be a red card as well for the Welsh team. But the referees has determined that this was a awkward tackle, a legal attempt, but ended poorly. And also there was a significant dropping high from Bieri here, and it's considered low danger. Whereas Ntamack completely upright, he's not even bending down at all. He's literally going up. So if he had bent down a bit more, and if he had actually made a more of a legal looking tackle from the other angle, the Lloyd is making the wrap as well. He's technically trying to make a wrap on his hand, but it's just in an awkward position, but still shoulder to the head. This is just a yellow card at this one. I thought the referee was pretty lenient, but this one you really can't get away with that. Completely tucked, not even any sort of a resemblance for a wrap on the right hand here. And yeah, he's going to be looking at minimum 2 weeks if he does the tackle score, and not really the ideal situation for Ntamack. And yeah, it's just, that is, pretty, you can see the Lloyd is putting back. It's not really following through as well, which is why it's considered a low degree of danger. Whereas Ntamack, he follows through completely, knocking the ball carrier back. Although, and you can even see here, Lloyd is following up with the wrap on his right hand, whereas Ntamack, he is just completely flung his arm out and not really even attempting to closing in on the grip there at all. So yeah, it is a bit of a lack of concentration. You can see 72 minutes, the game's almost over. Not need for him to do that, and yeah, it's gonna be tough. It is tough call, and yeah, you can see that Lloyd is putting back. He's not following through. Big difference in terms of how the referee decides whether there's a degree of danger in that regard. And yeah, it is not ideal for the French team to be getting that getting that red card on one of their big name players. But the good news is kind of like the French has been managing without Ntamack for quite some time now, so they should be okay. There's some talks that Jalibert could be coming back at 10. They had a bit of a fallout with the coach, with the head coach. What's his name? With the head coach. So apparently they've made up. And then so he's potentially coming back. And also today, I kind of noticed that, and obviously the other option that they normally go to is Romain. What's his name? My goodness, I'm struggling today. Yeah, it's Thomas Ramos as well. So who are they gonna put at 10? It's still a bit of a question. But yeah, those are two options that are most likely going to be. But in my opinion, I think there could be a potential for Legaric, the reserve number 9, to go to 10 position today. He was very, very good out of the night, coming off the bench to replace Antoine Dupont. He had really good hands, really good vision on where things wanted to go. He had a decent kicking game. He was finding touch like really well. He was doing some of the goal kicking, not quite as good as he missed a bunch of the goal kicking, but yeah, he has like some of the talents that you kind of look for out of the 10 jersey. Some nice flick passes from behind, so he could potentially go to 10 should they want to keep Ramos at 15 and not bring back Jelly Bear because he hasn't been in the team for a while now. So yeah, how they're gonna juggle with that? Galtier want to juggle with that? It's a bit of a, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think it's gonna be too big of a deal for the French with the losing out on Ntamack for that red card. With that being said, let's look. So some of the good positives from the French side, I thought they had a really interesting plan when they were attacking. It's like the structure is like a very loose structure. The players are kind of adjusting themselves on the fly, so it's really hard to read what the French is actually doing. They're also just switching back and forward on their attack points, very unpredictable, and that has yielded really good results to opening up gaps out wide, because you kind of suck in defenders from both ends by going left and right. Suddenly wider channels are open, and then whether it's a long pass over the top or a bit of a crossfield kick, both wingers got on the board a number of times tonight for the French team. So really good strategy there. Whilst on defense, the structure from the French team is like almost a reverse from that lacking of structure, that you know, that constant adjusting structure. Very disciplined, very structured. Perfect defense tonight against the Welsh, and yeah, it was not a single try was scored. The Welsh didn't even look like they were threatening for a try. There was a number of times that the Welsh got really close to try line, and he was just like hitting a brick wall again and again and again and again. Wasn't in danger of scoring pretty much the entire evening. And also the 50-22 attempts from Thomas Ramos was probably really poorly defended by the Welsh team. Ramos was just, and not even just Ramos, a number of French players was attempting to kick that 50-22 whenever opportunity they had. And they just, again, the ball was able to, you know, there was one 50-22 that was landed by Ramos, but the number of attempts that led to the ball going out near the 22-meter line undefended is, again, something that the Welsh clearly did not prepare at all. And, you know, you can argue a lot of the sports, just one slight different bounce could have been 50-22. But the fact is that the Welsh need to shut down and stop the ball from going out near that 22-meter line when it's being attempted within the French 50. Just not defended at all. So I thought the French exploited that really well. And yeah, it's just, you know, overall, I thought the French probably did exactly what they wanted to do. They attacked they attacked the way they wanted. They defended the way they wanted. Outside of the red card to Romain and Ntamack, it's pretty much a perfect game for them going into next week. So yeah, but yeah, the Welsh are much more, you know, to be much less to be desired in this performance. So first thing, let's go with the positives first. I do think the Welsh scrums performed a lot better than I was expecting. Adam Jones has actually brought him some pretty good structure and pretty good techniques to the Welsh team. The first scrum kind of baited the French, as some teams likes to do, just kind of like not take the hit and then causing the French to do an early push. You know, a very nice little bit of early game plan worked out immediately. I thought the loose set prop in the first half for the Welsh did a really good job on going on a bit of an angle. And overall, it held up quite well, that Welsh team. They were penalized one time for like collapsing the scrum from going on a bit of an angle on the tight head side. But overall, I thought Paul Williams probably was a little bit too lenient on the scrum. I thought the Welsh probably could have got a one or two scrum penalties out of some of the efforts that they put it into it. And I think that Paul Williams really, I don't know, he knows what he's looking at in the scrummaging. And also some of the camera angle in the scrummaging was really annoying. They were like zooming in onto the ball, like between the legs, and we can't really see what is actually happening in the scrummaging. So that was a little bit annoying at times. But overall, I thought the Welsh scrum did much better than I was expecting, and the French scrums did not show the dominance that they shown in previous, at least last year. To be quite honest, the Welsh, again, very structured in both their attack and defense. But when you're facing up against the sort of the look, the sort of loose structure, the extreme from the French. The structure that the Welsh set up was just not good enough to defend against that, because you kind of need the reactionary, which comes from the experience of the players to see what's happening and organize, and then have good communications to work out where the French is going to attack. But the Welsh tried to put up a structure, but it was just not working in defense. In attack as well, the Welsh was probably a bit too structured, very predictable. One pass crash ball, two passes, again crash ball sort of style, very predictable. And then in the second half, the Welsh attack starting to open up a little bit more decisive, and got a bit of forward momentum, but still wasn't able to bridge the French defense with a lack of flair. Every now and then there'll be like a little bit of kick, a little bit of a little bit of a roll the dice sort of play from the Welsh side, and nobody really followed up. Again, it just shows in training that Gatland is really focusing on the structure, and when the structure is too predictable, when the structure needs to be adjusted, then weren't able to do so this game at all. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've said for the Welsh team. I don't know where they're gonna go. I think that Gatland has pretty much wasted too much time last year, not bringing through, not having a consistent team performing out there out there over the last year. He's been resting key players, and it's just not it's starting to show that the players now, it's not really functioning, not clicking as it would. Like for example, Tompkins, Owen Watkins, and Josh Adams and Liam Williams pretty much didn't play at all after Six Nations last year. And how you gonna have these guys just walk in and deliver results for you? I don't know. I don't know who thought that was gonna happen. Other than I mean, Warren Gatland, obviously a bit delusional to think that's just gonna work out for him immediately. To be fair, Ben Thomas, number 10, actually did quite well. I thought it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. With obviously Costello injured and Gareth Anscombe not back again. With these players, Josh Adams, Watkins, Tompkins, and Liam Williams, probably having Gareth here at number 10 will be a better combination with these guys, because there is clear, like I said, there was a clear bit of indecision in the first half of what was happening. Much better in the second half, but still, it was literally like, hey, these are the things we did at training, so just rinse and repeat, please. That's kind of like what it looked like, the game plan for the Welsh team. Again, Warren Gatland, I don't know what on earth he's doing and what on earth he's planning. How do you build to a successful team when literally like most of your backline didn't even play for six, for like almost a year, almost 12 month at this point? How are you gonna expect that to work out? I do not know. Okay, I do not know. So anyway, let's moving on. From this, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 7 tries to nil, 431 run meters to the French, 406 to Wales, and the turnovers conceded 15 to France, 14 to Wales. As you can see, like the Welsh have plenty of opportunity to score, and they just there's just no creativity. There's just textbook, rinse and repeat training drill style of attack, and the French were just able to easily defend it without conceding any points. 181 tackles made for the French, 12 missed tackles. 185 tackles made for the Welsh, 27 missed tackles. Again, not able to read the defensive appropriately when things are going outside of their scope of training. It's just completely falling apart. 28 kicks for the French, 26 for the Welsh. 4 out of 7 conversions. I think all 3 were missed by Le Garrec. I think 2 was missed by Le Garrec and 1 was missed by Ramos. 881 kicks from hand. Much better for the French. Only 620 for the Welsh. So yeah, lineouts 14 for the French, 1 loss, 7 for the Welsh, 1 loss for that. Pretty even overall. I thought the set piece on lineouts was okay. But the Welsh defense on the maul was a bit of an issue, considering a bunch of penalties there. 1 scrum loss for the French, 0 for the Welsh. I thought the Welsh was actually holding up their end of the bargain quite well, and I think the 1 scrum loss with the early push as well, like just a little bit of mind games there on the engagement from the Welsh team, got themselves a little bit of an edge there. Again, Adam Jones doing some great work in the Welsh camp there. Penalties conceded. This is probably a big telling point of the game. 13 penalties against the French. One red card for Ntamack, probably should not have happened. Only 3 penalties. Yeah, it's really good discipline. 12 penalties against the Welsh. 2 yellow cards. 1 yellow card was the high tackle there. from Lloyd, and the other one was a repeated penalty late in the second half after many warnings by the referee. I thought the referee was probably too lenient on the Welsh. Probably could have got a yellow card a bit earlier than right at the last minute of the game, so to speak. The amount of pressure they were under, and this is the thing, when you have a very, when you're training the players to just follow the structure, when things that, like, when the French attack, it's becoming too erratic, too difficult to read. What happens is your players really not sure what to do, because because it's not why because you drill them in training to play, to defend in a specific style, and when the Frenchies are playing outside of the bounds of what you're trained, players start making mistakes, and that's when you're conceding penalties after penalties after penalties. Not because the players were deliberately giving them out, because the players were getting caught off guard and not responding correctly to what is in front of them, giving away those silly penalties. And that's, again, showing coaching issues, in my opinion, inside the Welsh camp from Warren Gatland there. Anyway, let's have a quickly go through some of the scoring from the French. 50-22 was kicked only 2 minutes into the game by Ramos, and that did not send any warning signs for the Welsh. The ball was kicked out around the 22-minute mark, over and over again for the entire game. 18 minutes into the game, the Fronts finally got themselves a bit of a momentum. There was a bit of a clunkiness early in their attack. They got a penalty advantage, a quick tap from the French getting forward, and then eventually the ball sort of came out. Again, Dupont spots the space out wide, crossfield kick. The new guy, Atis Gobe, gets the ball. Easy as that. Try time, 7 points to 0. 23 minutes in the game. The scrum went down on the Welsh side. There was a penalty from that. The French followed that up with a line out. They just kept on building center field position. Some good hands, just again switching sides again and again in the center field. Eventually, defenders were drawing in from both sides. And then it was just a matter of picking out which side you want to go. Just good hand over the top to Bieri onto the left-hand corner. 14 points to 0. 30 minutes into the game, Lloyd was sent off for a yellow card on a high tackle. 34 minutes into the game. Again, Dupont, just the French attack, constantly switching sides. Dupont picks up the ball, spots a gap in front of him, just ran straight through. He got just about a big tackle before the try line, flings the ball out to the new guy once again, Atisambe goes in for the try, 21 points to 0. 40 minutes into the game, again, the French just sensing blood in the water, following multiple penalties given out, warning. The French goes for the try. They went for the line out. The maul was defended, but it looked like it was held up. The ball was held up over the try line, but the ball was able to come out. And again, just nice pound pressure center field, and then switch back to the blind side. And Bieri, just nice bit of footwork, goes in for the try. 28 points to 0. Second half, the Welsh did look like they're a bit more decisive on their attack, look a little bit better, a bit more form momentum, but still not able to breach the French defense. Too predictable, too one-dimensional. 45 minutes into the game, the France had another penalty. Again, another penalty that was given out, and another warning was given out to the Welsh without giving out a yellow card. The French went for the line out, they went for the maul. All the backs piled in, pushed it over. 33 points to 0. 67 into the game. There was, again, nice little French pressure, center field. Ball went out. The new number 9 was on the field. Garrick, nice little flick pass to his players, and then eventually Ntamack on the ball. Nice little crossfield kick. Was it a crossfield kick? Over the top, and then the what's his name? Hang on. Nice, yeah, over the top, and the Gatland, the guy came off the field off the bench, immediately gets the bounce and going for the try. 38 points to 0. 70 minutes into the game, 72 minutes into the game, Ntamack gets sent off for a red card. And he's going to be looking a couple of weeks off. Regardless, France was able to carry on with the dominance with the one player in the bin. And eventually, just about before the full time, there was a yellow card to Wales for repeated penalties. And then France followed this one up with some... Garrick did a 50-meter touch finder. He was only about 50 meters maybe out from the touch sideline as well. So he had a pretty small angle to work with. And he kicked like just out on the 50, like, you know, on the 5 meter mark, out from the Welsh try line, and the France just had the ball, crash ball center field, and then yeah, just pound, and eventually Aldrich pick and go and went over for the try. 43 points to nil for the French. Easy as that. Yeah, this is a pretty dire looking for the Welsh team, and there was some talks if the Welsh team don't improve, Gatland's gonna get fired, and it's currently looking like the case. Because, like I said, how do you have any consistency in the team when most of your backline hasn't even played for 6 months, and haven't played at all with your fly half for like, you know, for like a year, if ever, right? Like, it's really stupid the way that Warren Gatland is managing the team. He's just completely blown so many opportunities to hone his team, to you know, polish up his team last year and bring some consistency, resting players left and right, and not, you know, have no selection, no consistent selection policies, and, you know, dropping your experienced players because who knows why. It's just, yeah. I think Gatland is I think the writings on the wall for Warren Gatland here. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later for the Irish and England game. Cheers.